This video contains flashing lights, scary and creepy content, disturbing violent and graphic images, jump scares, pop-ups and sudden loud noises. Viewer discretion advised.
The term Easter egg refers to a hidden message or joke, or in the case of this list, scare in a video game. It was originally coined by Atari after they pointed out a secret message left by Warren Robinette in the video game Adventure. In this list, most Easter eggs are usually visual or triggered events that just add extra scares to the game. They are not necessary to gameplay, but make for a spookier experience. So, here are the top 45 scariest Easter eggs in games. Out of This Dimension from Star Fox. If you've played Star Fox, you already know there's a secret black hole level. However, it turns out there's another, even more secret and downright creepy level that isn't even shown on the map, so most people will never know about its existence. To reach it, you must go to the hard asteroid belt stage and destroy a greenish-gray asteroid that will release a giant space bird. Now you have to fly into the giant bird. Once you do that, you will be thrown into a warping and waving field of stars and planets. Planets with faces that are grinning at you. Apartment 3C from Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. Apartment 3C is an Easter egg added by Rockstar Games as a reference to the 1983 film Scarface. As the film takes place in Florida and has a mafia-like style, the bathroom in it is splattered with blood, with a chainsaw pickup right next to it. Another nod to the film Scarface, the apartment plays no role in the storyline whatsoever, but it was rumored to be featured in a beta mission. Baby picture from Crossfire. The laboratory map is medium-sized for ghost mode, but was also available for new deathmatch in the past. This map is pretty basic and loved by many players, but it still held a weird and creepy picture of a baby. Near the blacklist spawn, there's a door with a lot of sparks. If you look closely between the doors, you will see a picture of a baby. There's been no indication on whose baby it is, but many believe it's just a weird Easter egg made by the developers. Face from Half-Life Blue Shift. This creepy picture can be found in a vent in the level focal point. From a distance, it appears the man has no pupils in his eyes, but he does in fact have eggs for eyes. Hence the pun, Easter eggs. Huh? See what we did there? This Easter egg is also found in a toilet cubicle. The photo of the person is one of the developers for Gearbox. Failed mission. Time Splitters 2. If not for the terrifying Court of the Star, players found that several minutes in, strange, slow, demonic voices started playing. Among some analysis, many audio experts started claiming that the voices were audition tapes for the character Captain Ash in the game that were slowed down. It's clear that you wouldn't hear it the first time around, as you were more eager to get back into the action. Jason from Dead Island. Dead Island took inspiration from a number of horror classics, but buried in the jungle was a cameo appearance by Jason Voorhees, If you can find the machete-wielding maniac, you'll have a hard time killing him, since he's one of the most difficult enemies in the game. His attack is a one-hit kill and can outrun and chase the player all over the level. Yes, it's officially not the Jason, but his trademark hockey mask, disturbing bedroom, and trademark weapon are proof enough. The Giant Squid in Assassin's Creed 2. In the last chamber of the Santa Maria, there is a pool. Steering into the pool for 1 minute causes a giant squid to swim by. If this process is further repeated, a cutscene plays and an enormous tentacle comes out of the water. What is its purpose? And does it tie into the other games? The answer remains a mystery. The Giant Squid from Splashdown. There aren't many creepier feelings than the wide open ocean, and what better way to make that fear even more scary than by traveling out of the playfield? A giant squid tentacle will attack the player and cause them to be thrown back to their original position. Secret Mighty Kamikaze from Serious Sam, The Second Encounter. In the last courtyard, there is a lone health pill in the middle right-hand corner. If you pick it up, you will activate a secret watcher. Look above, where you will find 2 eyes floating in midair. Shooting them activates a secret mighty kamikaze. Once activated, the kamikaze will explode itself in mere seconds, and it has a huge explosion radius, so stand back. John Romero from Doom 2. The boss in the final level of Doom 2 is supposed to be a giant horned demon skullhead, and if you listen closely, the beast says in a distorted voice and demonic chant this. Now, if one were to reverse the sound clip, it will say this. To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero. In order to find John Romero, you had to enable the no clipping mode, walk through the wall behind the demon head, and then be confronted by the designer of John Romero's head on a pike. Aliens from Outlaws. LucasArts snuck this creepy little extra into the Western shooter game Outlaws. If you acquired some dynamite in the very first level, you could blow open the outhouse and wander into a secret room with a UFO. Opening the UFO window reveals several aliens. Creepy Voice from Jam Sessions. In the game Jam Sessions for the Nintendo DS, if you allow the A6 guitar chord to ring out and not press anything afterwards, a whispered voice that sounds very much like After some investigation, it was apparently one of the recording artists saying "next" in Japanese, but the developers had forgotten to remove it. Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid. The Psycho Mantis boss fight in Metal Gear Solid is renowned for having one of the most innovative player experiences. Psycho Mantis is psychic, and when he reads Snake's mind, he's actually reading the memory card on your console, which is still pretty creepy. When he recognizes a game file, he'll mention it while demonstrating his abilities. Hidden messages from Portal 2. In one of the earlier test chambers of the game, you can find an abandoned room hidden off to the side of the level, much like the rooms found in the original Portal. If you stand close enough to one of the graffiti-covered walls, you can hear a kind of disturbing chanting. Apparently, this is a background character named Doug Ratman, who appeared in a comic book set between the two games. He's the only survivor of Gladhouse, and is responsible for all the graffiti and junk laying around the lab. Sonic CD, the hidden message. There was an anti-piracy message that was hidden in the game Sonic CD for the Sega CD. At the title screen, you can activate the sound test by pressing down, 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 left, and right. To see this message, make sure the numbers read 46, 12, 25. After that, you will be taken to this screen. Apart from the hellish music, what's more disturbing is the fact that the picture was signed by the devil. The actual Japanese text translates to Hideo Kojima from Metal Gear Solid 2. Ghosts are a paranormal phenomenon that are often featured as Easter eggs throughout the Metal Gear Solid games, and this ghost was one of the very first scare frights players encountered. If Solid Snake photographs the second projector screen in the Hold 2, then it will appear if the player successfully takes a picture of the ghost in Metal Gear Solid HD Collection. They will earn the trophy achievement called Who You Gonna Call, as a reference to the comedy blockbuster film Ghostbusters. Zombie sounds. Half-Life 2. The normal zombies you frequently encounter in the game usually make some strange howling noises. However, if you reverse it, it will sound like this. Whispered names from Black and White 2. If you play the game after 10 o'clock in the evening, the program will whisper your name at random times. It has a large collection of whispered names and uses your game or Windows profile name. Definitely creepy for first-time players. The Grave Mind Speech from Halo 2. In the Halo 2 song, Destroyer's Invocation, in the first movement of the Mausoleum Suite on the Halo 2 original soundtrack, a mysterious voice chants. If this mumbling is reversed, a voice is heard saying, I have walked among men and angels for 3,000 years. Time has no end, no beginning, no purpose. I wandered earth, seeking forgiveness for my horrible crimes against God and man. I lived to see death and destruction, evil over the light. The light cannot be extinguished. I live in a prison of my own demise. I am lost in time. There are more hidden Gravemind quotes in Halo 3's soundtrack too, and some appear as a reference to Eliot's poem, The Hollow Men. The Gyroid Face from Animal Crossing. If you travel to another town and reset, you won't get Mr. Rossetti, but one of your neighbors will say that they can't reload. If you carry on playing, you'll notice your character will have the gyroid face. Basically, Nintendo planned this into the game to make sure you don't forget to save the next time you play. Slender Man, Runner 2. In a game such as this, you wouldn't even think for a moment that a stage would be haunted by the Slender Man, but it is. At several parts of the level, you'll notice him in the background, just standing motionless, sometimes with tentacles protruding from his back. If you reached the end of the level and did not fire yourself at the target, you were greeted to this. Ghostface from Super Mario 3D Land. In Super Mario 3D Land, on stage 4-4, when Mario reaches the end of the level, instead of jumping on the flagpole, run behind it and stand at the gate for about a minute. After a while, a ghostly figure will slowly materialize in the background. It resembles a tall, skinny sheet with a mask for a face. It doesn't do anything. It just floats in the background creepily for about another minute before it disappears again. Fans have referred to it as a Shy Guy mask, or a Kadama, or even a Hell Valley Sky Tree. This face appears on 2 levels. The Goldshire Children from World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft takes place in a truly massive universe, so there's a lot of room for weirdness in the dark corners. In the town of Goldshire, for instance, if you're standing in the right spot at 7 a.m., you'll see 6 children running around in a pentagram formation before fleeing back into their home. If you follow them, you'll hear some spooky, ominous music, and find the kids standing completely motionless, still in their pentagram configuration. They apparently disappear at 8 p.m. each day, only to reappear the next morning. When asked, Blizzard said that the children are an homage to the Diablo games, a popular series also from Blizzard. Death Row Laugh from Gears of War 3. In the Phoenix Rising DLC, the Slab map, search for a recreation area outside. Find one of the thrash balls and kick it to a gate that's blocking a hallway towards the electric chair. Kick the thrash ball through the circular hole in the gate. A rat will exit the hole, and a disturbing locust laughs. Once you perform the Death Row Laugh Easter egg, if you go to the top left door on the map where the footprints are and shoot it, you'll hear the sound of a man groaning. In the showers on the right-hand side when looking down the stairs, there's a knife stabbed into the wall. Teddy bears from Call of Duty Black Ops 2. The teddy bears have made many appearances throughout the Call of Duty games, but their appearance in Black Ops 2 is anything but creepy. Apparently, somehow teddy bears at the mystery box spawn points. Will scan the room looking towards the left, then will quickly drop its head as if it were spying on characters, looking like it wasn't trying to be noticed. Shooting or knifing a teddy bear will cause fluff to come out of it. However, no visible wounds can be seen on the actual bear. Hell Valley Sky Trees from Super Mario Galaxy 2. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, within the Shiver Burn Galaxy, use first-person mode and look up into the mountains. There are 3 shadowy figures watching Mario. What's creepy is that they follow Mario's every move, as they are seen in various places in the background. should you go into first-person mode. Hackers have apparently found mysterious creatures as a texture in the game's coding called Hell Valley Skytree. Stranger still, when hackers have used flying cheats to try and reach the figures, they simply disappear. Hauntings within room from Silent Hill 4. Depending on the actions the player took, certain hauntings would appear in the room. The most common ones included shadows, veins in the walls, ghosts emerging, and strange noises. There were also hidden Easter eggs such as a head, Henry's shadow, and the rabbit who stares back at the player once they look through the crack in the wall. The Possession voice from BioShock Infinite. Possession is one of the most useful figures in BioShock Infinite, and one of the most evocative as you get it for the first time. A beautiful ghost woman is seen seducing whoever you use it against, with a strange melodic sound that's difficult to understand. However, if you reverse the audio clip, you hear this. This is actually dialogue from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. So now that you know that voice, it leads many of its victims to suicide, as shown in the upgraded version of Possession.
With just a whisper, they're all ears.
Idle from Fatal Frame 2. If players went idle for several minutes, the screen would static slightly, showing the face of a child or an adult. Similar idle scares have appeared in the other games too, most notably Fatal Frame 3 and 4. The game gives no indication or clue as to who the faces belong to. Hidden sanity effects from Eternal Darkness. As the player is seen by monsters, their sanity meter depletes. The lower the meter is when entering a room, the more likely a sanity effect will occur. When the sanity effect is over, the screen flashes a bright white, after which everything returns to normal as the player is teleported to the last room he was in. Most effects occur randomly, although some are scripted to appear only in certain levels or at certain points, and are thus classified as Easter eggs. One particularly freaky moment was when the game takes control of your game and deletes all of your save files, but you can breathe a sign of relief when you realize it's only a sanity effect. Similar in terms of Fatal Frame's idle Easter egg, if the controller is left idle for several minutes, the game's audio will go silent, and a still image of Pius takes up the screen. Hidden Alma scene from F.E.A.R. In the first mission, there's a hidden Easter egg that many players didn't know about. If a player started opening and closing the double doors repeatedly, the HUD screen will start to flicker. If the player kept opening and closing the doors for a few minutes, the door and table will disappear and Alma will be standing inside. If the player wandered through the set of double doors, then the screen would flash white and Alma can be heard saying, Ghost Voice from Modern Warfare 3. On the level Sanctuary, if players went prone and hid next to certain gravestones, they would hear the voice of a girl talking about something. The voices are actually sound clips taken from Davis Family Vacation, a video introduction to the 8th mission of the game, which takes place after Mind the Gap. Ghost Room from Call of Duty Finest Hour. The Ghost Room is an Easter egg found in Call of Duty Finest Hour, in the level called Underground Passage. If players took the right side of the tunnel, they would find a door that cannot be opened, with a med pack next to it. By throwing 3 grenades at it, the door will be blown open. The Ghost Room consists of no ceiling, except for floating candles and a small P-51 Mustang flying around. On the ground is a small Sherman tank rolling around. A toilet is on the right. A chair with a Kaiser bear will be sitting, and in the center there will be a cradle with a coveted sticky bear laying at the foot of it. At first the cradle appears to be empty, but going up to it and looking inside it, the ghost of a young boy appears to be sitting in it. Hitting the action button when near it will make him get out and walk in midair, posing as a soldier. He doesn't seem to acknowledge that the player is there, and gives a blank stare the whole time. The entire room also appears to be lined with strange pictures, and near the stairs there is a Browning .30 caliber machine gun. When the player first goes inside this room, an American voice will say,
"This is easily the creepiest thing I've ever seen."
The Possessed Teddy Bear from F.E.A.R 3, a hidden Easter egg that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. You will come across many teddy bears found throughout the suburbs level. Some will just be sat and stored on shelves, but there was one hidden in a room that was possessed. It had glowing red eyes, and sometimes if you stared at it long enough, you ended up taking damage for unknown reasons. What's worse, if you looked back at the bear, it would have returned to its normal state. Scarecrow's Boat from Batman Arkham City. Scarecrow does not appear in Arkham City. However, a boat with one of his victims and a heap of creepy stuff can be found. In this boat, he has shipment orders from Falcon, one of Gotham's mob bosses. As an Easter egg, the game goes into first-person perspective, with a thug sitting in a chair and a list that reads that Scarecrow is there. Ghost of Hitman Contracts. Already mentioned in our creepy urban game legends list, the ghost of the Hitman Contracts appears in the level Traditions on the Trade. If you pick the lock while nobody's looking, you can go into a hidden area of the hotel. If you carry on through a dreary hallway, you'll run into a cop who tells you that there's been a nasty accident in one of the rooms. There's a dead body on the floor and a knife on the wall. However, when you walk into the bathroom, you get to see the ghost in the mirror. You can also see the ghost appear in the bedroom too. The ghost has no relation to the plot whatsoever. It's not even an achievement or anything like that. What is its purpose in the game, and who it actually was remains a complete mystery. The ghost can also be killed and is said to appear in 6 different parts of the level. Tumbleweed from Red Dead Redemption. Rockstar included a large number of scary Easter eggs in Tumbleweed to supposedly make the game much more atmospheric and creepy. If players wandered throughout the area, they would encounter strange things. Such examples include the walls of the first and second floor of the mansion changing color very slowly, random footprints appearing on the stairs to the cellar, voices whispering in the cellar, lights flickering, faces and spirits appearing, and doors closing by themselves. Even animals have been seen acting very oddly, such as the rabbits who appear to be sitting in the rooms, even when players approach them. Horses mysteriously disappear from the barn, and one lone skinny horse is spotted near the windmill. Barking is also heard throughout the area, and if tracked long enough, will eventually lead to the cemetery, but there are no dogs to be found. growling noises. Grand Theft Auto 4. Growling noises are considered a rare phenomenon that is said to occur inside the abandoned Alderney Casino and beach areas at night. The growls are said to be similar to that of a lion or dog, which is further confusing because there are no animals in Grand Theft Auto 4. Others say that the growls come from a ghost that resides inside the casino. The only possible explanation for the growls is the echoing sound of thunder from a storm, or it could be one of the hobos who lives and sleeps in the old casino. Haunted Baby Stroller. The haunted baby stroller with no visible owners. Its placement could be a reference to children in the game. It is haunted because it tends to move by itself, and when you shoot it, you can hear a little girl's voice saying, "Mommy." Heart of Happiness. If the player takes a helicopter to the Statue of Happiness in Liberty City, they can walk through a door with plaques that read, "No hidden content this way." After you climb up a giant ladder through the center of Lady Liberty, the player will find a massive beating heart suspended by chains in a red-tinted chamber. A lot of unanswered questions remain. Is the statue alive? Why is it suspended by chains? And why is it even there? It's weird, disturbing, and very confusing. Library Ghost from Gears of War Judgment. In the one-shot room located above the breach shot spawn, a player can throw a grenade up into the rafters to knock loose a painting, which will fall on the wall opposite to the room entrance. Next to the portrait, there is a small scrap of paper that can only be destroyed via snub pistol. Once the paper is destroyed, a small orb will appear on the cog located on the painting wall. Small papers identical to the first one will then appear near all the paintings on the map. Destroying a paper will change the nearby portrait into something gruesome. Once all 8 of the papers are destroyed, return to the one-shot room and find the cog fully lit with all 8 glowing orbs. Approaching the painting will cause a reaper to phase out of it, scour through a book, and return back into the painting. Shooting the painting will teleport you to a secret tomb where you have to fight the Reaper on a one-on-one duel. The Reaper's health far exceeds any standard multiplayer character and spawns with 2 random weapons every time you enter the room. While killing the Reaper does not reward you with a unique medal or a weapon skin set, it does count as a kill towards your score, and can sometimes drop a boosh gun, which is the only way of getting one on this level. Yuboa from Yume Nikki. Yuboa is a secret Easter egg in the Japanese freeware game Yume Nikki, where the player controls a girl while she dreams. The game is very explorative and could at face value be considered barren, but there are spooky secrets underneath it all. When in a certain NPC's house, there is a 1 in 64 chance that when you flip the light switch off, Yuboa will suddenly appear. It's a startling effect to be sure, but the entire house changes. You can't leave the house, you can't turn the light back on, and the only thing you can really do is touch Yuboa, since he stalks you around the room, or stab him with your knife effect. The Mannequin Head. Condemned. Criminal Origins. At Bard's department store, if the player gazed at the nearest mannequin at the right, before the enemy shows up, the mannequin's head will slowly turn toward the direction of the player and remain in that fixed position. Now, the idea was for the player to wander away from the mannequin so that it whispers. This in turn will entice the player to turn around and notice the head already turned. You're dead. Haunted changing rooms. In St. Joseph's Secondary School, once players entered the changing rooms, they turned sinisterly evil. For starters, strange supernatural forces are present. Often doors locking themselves, locker doors opening, or lights exploding. The hidden Easter eggs here are the doors the players will wander through. If players attempted to go back, the doors will violently close with no explainable reason. The game never mentions that the level is haunted in any way. There's no reports on the matter. There's no dead children anywhere. In fact, all the player has to fight are crawlers and addicts. Crypt Scare from Mortal Kombat 9. In the new Mortal Kombat, there's a place called the Crypt, where you can gain prizes such as alternate costumes or fatalities. The place is creepy enough. It consists of a dark graveyard/swampland divided into sectors, and you gain prizes in one sector by activating torture devices to kill people, such as Iron Maidens and racks. Players have stayed far away from the crypt, and for obvious reasons. Screamers. These disturbing demons will suddenly flash on screen for a split second, seemingly at random intervals, which caused a lot of fear amongst the gaming community. Face from Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Mob of the Dead. When on the roof where the plane is assembled, the player is required to have a sniper rifle, such as the Barrett M82A1 or the DSR-50. They must proceed to the far end of the roof to the left of the runway. If the player scopes in on the firework display in the distance, a distorted picture of what appears to be Rusman's face will flash up on the screen for a split second. Why this happens and to what purpose remains a mystery. Doom 3 Easter Eggs. Hidden Face. When you start Doom 3 and wait, you will be given an intro with lots of text about the advancement of the UAC. Near the end, for a split second, a zombie skeleton face with one eye missing and a wide open mouth will appear on the planet. You must have a quick eye, because it lasts only a second. The Mirror. While wandering the toilets of the first few levels, there will be many mirrors placed above the sinks. However, one of them reveals a terrifying Easter egg. Hidden messages on keypads. In the first few levels, you will encounter rooms with the pentagram symbol on the floor surrounded by candles where demons spawn from. The rooms have keypads to get into them, but some doors have keypads that are broken. If you look closely, you will see text saying something. When it blinks, the text quickly changes and says something like, "Hell waits to kill you."
Whispering voices. The first bathroom you can enter is on the right-hand side, and a man will exit from it. If you venture to the far corner of the cubicles, you'll hear strange whispering, almost as if the vent of air is whispering something. The fact that most of the UAC staff claim that unexplained things are happening ties this Easter egg together.
Vandalized faces from the Game Boy camera. The Game Boy camera allowed you to take a picture of yourself and edit it. While a nice addition, it was rather useless because the Game Boy screen was very small and the screen resolution was grainy and did not support color. It didn't sell very well and had many complaints from users who had pressed the run button. The run button was meant for a minigame, but it wasn't the type of minigame that you would have expected. Pressing this button would make the game freeze and show you a number of vandalized and creepy faces.